очередной австриец. Австрия в нынешнем сезоне очень модна. У меня глаза кривые, кстати, видишь?
Ничего страшного.
Ну, в общем, Маркус Альтенбурген. Я не знаю, мы на вина уже, да.
Точно. Ну, они же там все камеры вместе. We have a very nice wine day with Markus.
Hi.
Okay, we start and we saw a video in your Instagram.
Okay,
I will show you.
I'm afraid.
We're also afraid because we think that you have a problem.
Okay, show me.
You see? There are a lot of, in German language, crowds here.
Okay,
Here, and it's a problem, I think. But we have a solution.
okay.
From the Russian village. It will be a present for you. It's the Tyapka.
Okay. What are you expecting me to do with this?
To cut some crowds, because it's a lot of crowds in your vineyard. Why?
First of all, thank you for this nice item.
You're welcome.
I'm not sure if I can take it home. Maybe they will stop me at the airport, but I only have hand luggage.
But you can try.
I can try. Yeah, we let everything grow in the vineyard. This is very...
Raw.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we really, this is something very important to us. And some vineyards we don't even drive through the tractor. So this is something very new, and whether we let the grass grow or we put in some greening, some herbs. The most important thing is that the soil is always covered. Summer in Austria can be very hot in our part of the area, and once the very nice limestone or schist soil is not covered by any kind of green thing, then it's of course endangered to be drying out.
So, but in Instagram, you write that you are organic
Yes.
vineyard.
Yes.
But in fact, because I think and what I read,
Yeah.
that it's some ways of raw wine, some of biodynamic, or you just organic. You don't use some methods from biodynamic or natural wine. Or what can you explain? Because for me, organic is just that you don't use some chemical for the ground, but.
Yeah, it's a big difference if you distinguish between there's a different method of like the things you spray on the grapes as well. So and organic is okay. I believe in organic agriculture, and now it's becoming like more and more important in Austria. So I've only read last week that it's already 1/4 of the Austrian agriculture is already like done organic, which is good for the climate, for the environment, and so on. But of course, meeting the organic guidelines is not enough to make great wines. You need to get steps ahead, take steps further. Biodynamic agriculture for me is like one way of doing organic agriculture.
One of the way.
One of the ways of doing organic agriculture, and I'm sure we do some things, and biodynamic grower is doing. We did this certification for the organic, and this was paperwork and guidelines and stuff enough. So we have very clear ideas of wine growing, And if you then call it biodynamic or organic or whatever, is not so important to us. Most important thing is that everything grows outside and that you have healthy wines and healthy soils.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
It was a pro wine.
Pro wine, yeah?
Pro wine.
I didn't go.
You didn't go?
No.
Why? But you didn't take part on it this year, or you never?
We have an importer for Germany, and we can show our wines on his booth.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what we do for Pro Wine, and our winemaker, she flew over and we're showing the wines for 2 days.
Like export manager shows.
No, she's my colleague, and she's also in the cellar and in the vineyards and so on. So my kind of right hand, and she did it. But Pro Wine is not such an important fair for us. So it's very big. Düsseldorf is very crowded, and taxis and hotels are very expensive. And yeah, I think we could put more effort on more important things.
Well,
Yeah, I like this city.
I have a very interesting story from Pro Wine, and I want to share the story with you and to ask maybe, have you ever heard about these facts? It was very exciting for me to go to this exhibition because it's really a very important exhibition, and I felt a very huge responsible for task from my company. Mm-hmm. And at the first day, I suppose in the middle of the day, I felt a very high acidity in my stomach because I tried a lot of wines. Okay. And at that moment, I was in USA hall, okay. And some American guys, we have a conversation. They have, what's going wrong today? I don't understand how I need to go to another hall to try once more wines because the acidity is unbelievable in my stomach. Believe us, we have a solution.
Okay, what did they do?
Okay, and we bought a bottle of beer, and really, they have a little fridge, and because again, with beer, it helps you to lower the acidity of the wine with the beer, and really,
it did work.
It works.
That's great.
It's great.
Maybe I'm gonna have a beer afterwards.
Yeah, I was alive again. And yes, of course, about the Austria. Austria is very little country, yes? Mm-hmm. And you work with your local grapes like Blaufrankиш, Roter, Wельтлинер, Zweigel, Gryner, Wельtliner. And let's talk a little about them.
Yeah.
Why Blaufrankish is like trend now? Because what is the reason? Because few years ago he kept a low profile. We don't hear about them, but 2 or 3 years it's like a superstar now. What is the reason? Can you?
Blaufrankisch can be really light-footed and easy in a way. It's not as round as compared to Zweigel, and sometimes it's got a little bit more acidity. But I think that really fits in today's taste or development of taste of the people. And Blaufrankisch is the historically Austrian grape, and you can make from an easy drinking afternoon wine up to single vineyards from old wine which you can age for 30 years. You can do everything with it, and I'm quite happy because it's my personal favorite grape. And if this now is a little bit more, let's say in trend, that's only good for me and logic.
I also like Blaufrankisch. For me, it's very easy to drink.
Yeah.
Not like very easy to understand. It's not very easy to understand because it's very different. It's because it depends on wine yards, on winemakers, but it's very light. So you can really start to drink it at the morning.
That's a good thing. Okay.
You have only 15 hectares, yeah?
Yes.
Yes. And how it's possible to make so different wine styles from one grape?
We're still talking about Blaufrankisch?
Blauwfrankisch or Gryner Vельtliner, for example, because
Yeah.
you have different styles of Grüners, different styles of Blauwfrankisch, and they are from different wine years, but in common it's one place. It's not so big place, yes?
It's not so far away, but in our area we've got very different terroirs. So every 100 meters you have slightly different soil types. We've got vineyards, they are south facing, we have got vineyards, they are west or east facing. So this is already from the circumstance where the grape grow, kind of a difference. And then of course it's the way how you treat your grapes. Do you
How you?
treat your grapes
Okay,
in the cellar?
okay.
How to process them? Is it like you treat them like a baby, or you treat them like some, you know, like like a grown-up person? I don't know how to say. So for us, for example, for Blauwfrankisch, we don't try to over-extract it. We only touch it very softly. We do only a few pumping overs. We don't do any kind of concentration method or something like this. And of course, then we've got an easygoing, light-footed style. Like you say, good morning wine, something like
Good morning
this.
wine.
But then for the more complex stuff, for the single vineyard, which are supposed to age, of course we have different winemaking. We don't destem the grapes, for example. We put it in as whole bunches, and it's not for 2 weeks on the skins, but it's for 6 weeks on the skins. And then you can, with the time, you get an idea of what comes from the vineyard and what you can do with winemaking. And for me, I have so many complicated things to care about. I was so lucky and happy to find the Blauwfrankisch, because at least I don't have to care about the grape anymore. Because I have one grape and I can do it all with it.
I have an idea. It's like you have terroirs and Blauwfrankisch like a screen of each terroir. So he can like show, like a
mirror.
movie,
Yeah.
you know, like a movie about this terroir. Or I'm there like a movie about this terroir, for example. Yeah.
Blauwfrankisch is perfect for this kind of things.
Okay.
Yeah. So good.
And we tried, of course, your Neuburger, and it's really wonderful. It's very interesting to know something interesting, maybe facts or something about this grape, because in internet, in books, it's no information about this grape. What can you say about it?
There is a very simple reason why nobody knows Neuburger, because it's only a few hundred hectares left, and you only find it in Austria. It's a kind of a sad story. Let's say that in the 90s, a lot of winemakers switched to other grapes which are more easy in the vineyard, because Neuburger is not easy. Yields are low, and the bunches are very, very tight to each other. So, I mean, you could compare it a little bit with Pinot Noir, for example.
Okay.
So, and it's also early ripening, and summers are getting more and more hot. So, there are some challenges about Neuburger, but it's such a unique thing. And it used to be like half of my family's vineyards, when my grandfather used to run the winery, was planted with Neuburger. So for me, it was no doubt that I wouldn't take care of this kind of thing. And we developed the style, and finally we found a way which we like taste-wise, and which is also easy to sell. easy to sell because nobody knows the grape.
Yes,
But
it's like interesting to try.
yeah, exactly.
In fact, but yes, of course, I don't know nothing, but it will be very interesting to try. So it's like a reason to sell, to buy
Yeah.
for customers, for example.
I think so, and it's unique and it's Austrian, and I think we should like respect those old kind of grape things
course.
because there are not so many, and if we only play with Chardonnay and Grüner, maybe in 30 years our wine world is getting more and more boring. So
Yeah. And it's a really wonderful wine. Really
thank you.
wonderful. And this style, I suppose it's like a natural style of the Neuburger that you produce because it's no filter. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which Gryner will you prefer beside yours?
Aha! This is a very complex question because most of the Grüne Wettliner they grow along the Danube, Wachau and Lower Austrian areas. But a couple of years ago, I really got into Grüne Wettliner from Burgenland by coincidence. A friend of our family just wanted to rent his vineyard because the guy who was renting the vineyard before was not doing a good job, and so we could rent it, and it was planted with Grüne Wettliner, 50-year-old vines on limestone, and we were totally enthusiastic. And after 2 or 3 years, I think, we did bottle our first single vineyard, Grüne Wettliner from Burgenland, which is really unusual. And then I tried what the colleagues are doing, and so on, and I found some really nice Grüne Wettliner from Burgenland.
If you wouldn't be a winemaker,
Yes.
which profession you will choose?
Sometimes I'm dreaming about being like something like, you know, the guy who sells the tickets in the train station or something.
Okay.
Just sit there, wait until the day goes by, go home at 4 o'clock, have fun with wife and kids, go for a walk, go running, go cycling, swimming, whatever. And wine tasting to the cellar of your neighbor, maybe, you know. So I think if I wouldn't be a winemaker and working day and night, I think I would be really lazy. It's only because of the wine that I'm ambitious.
You're so alive. Yes.
Yeah.
The wine makes you very alive person.
Yeah, that's true.
Why, for example, the price of your Grüner Wettliner is 4 times less than Grüner Wettliner of Gattegau, for example? Why? Why the price is so different?
There are like, I mean, cost calculation in wine is a very complicated thing because, of course, you could say a kilo of grapes is €2, the bottle is 50 cents, the cork is €1. So why is the bottle then more than €10? There's no logic behind this. But if you take into consideration that there's a lot more going on, we have like maybe old vines, so we have very low yields. If you have a new vineyard somewhere and we have an irrigation system, you can produce 20 tons. We produce like 2.5 or 3 tons per hectare. If you work everything with tractor, machine harvest and so on, then you can save a lot of money. If you don't use like organic spraying, but like normal ones, maybe then you only need to go spraying 3 or 4 times, and you can save again a lot of money. But where are those costs? You know, just I always have to ask yourself, who is paying then? We could make nature pay and work in a conventional way. That's one thing. Or we just buy grapes for a very low market price. So then the producer of the grapes pays because he cannot invest anymore and goes bankrupt after 10 years or 20 years. So wine production is a very expensive thing. If you pay your employees correct, if you pay respect to the nature, if you make organic or biodynamic or whatever kind of agriculture, that costs money. And the only way is to ask the money from the market. And this is not an easy task because, of course, the question is something you hear quite often. Why is your wine double the price of any random wine? This is hard to explain, but of course we're not getting rich, so it's we're not having a luxury life. We just try to get along.
Okay. Victoria.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you ever heard about the Russian wines? Or maybe you tried?
Yes. I know that there are Russian wines, and I have tried one, but I don't remember the name. But with climate change, everything is possible. Why not?
Yeah, but for example, the people in Austria, they believe in fact that in Russia we have wines. Can they imagine? What you think?
Yes, I'm sure that in Austria people can imagine that there are wines in Russia, because
Not vodka.
not the first thought will be vodka, that's for sure. But then I think they can believe it, because nobody believes that there's wine in Austria. Because if you think of Austria, everybody is talking about skiing and Mozart and so on. And yeah, there's
And
wine.
some of them think that Austria.
This happens.
Yes. Sometimes our customers also ask, what means minerality? How you feel it? How you can say that you feel it now? How can you say? I don't know. Maybe like just can you stone or what?
Yeah, this word minerality is a total, how to say, something abstract.
Yes.
But I have one indicator which usually works. And this is if a wine tastes salty. Then usually it grows on a mineral soil. Unless it's growing next to the sea, maybe like sherry. But usually this saltiness is a good indicator, and something which I would describe as crispy.
Crispy. Yeah, okay. And the last one. What does the winemakers dream?
What I dream?
Yes.
Okay.
About which things the winemaker dreams.
No, I don't think I should say this, but wait, what am I dreaming of? I'm dreaming of being sold out, maybe. I'm dreaming of a nice harvest. I'm dreaming of that my small daughter will have a lot of friends in kindergarten and be just happy. So very simple dreams. Very simple dreams.
But very honestly.
Yeah.
Yes, very honest. Okay.
Chin chin.
Thank you. Chin chin.
Chin chin.
Chin chin.
Cheers.